to go into car, but he actually gets away despite getting hacked over to the side. And that Mayhem coming alive. The Rocket Bronze coming in and finding two, despite that Blizzard falling down and actually finding some of the members from Spark.
Want to leave, try to keep him up. Not going to be good enough. Leaving Jimmy both getting eliminated. Great little pinch there from Flutta. Finds the Widowmaker, who will get rest back into the fight. Shanghai Dragons are absolute tear at the moment.
Oh, Charge not building up, but not. Actually, use the Blizzard.
Oh, take that for a look right there. The shatter coming in. Bouchouet, he gets stuck here, and now being able to clean up the point. It's going to be a wipe out here for the Fusion, with Spark now making their way over to this point.
That's Primal Reserve. Bob already out. And now they're looking for Void. Oh, gigantic!
3K. I can't believe he hit that.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Overwatch League. I am Achilles, jumping on for the cast alongside Avril yet again. It's been a nice little break here. Avril coming back after a week off. Now we get ready to jump into some more matches, and I could not be more excited.
Yeah, we got a good one. Shanghai, Hangzhou. We just saw some really interesting games a little bit earlier. Sadly, Angeles Valiant still have not gotten their first win. York as well has been having a bit of a topsy-turvy season so far in the early stages. I mean, we'll see. Is Shanghai going to make the bounce back as well? What about Hangzhou Spark? They're kind of in a little bit of a weird place, 0-2. I think they really need these games, and something I'm discovering, Seth, is especially in the APAC region here in the eastern side of things, you ideally want a 3-1 record to make it into the May Melee. A 2-2 would be the minimum requirement. So Hangzhou Spark, they're required to win this game today. They're required to win this match and their next one to at least go 2-2 and give themselves a shot.
Yeah, we'll see how it happens. Of course, guys, worth shouting out down there at the bottom of your screen, the new MMA skin is out in the shop. Make sure you guys pick it up because it's always great to see some Overwatch League content getting added into the game itself. Zoe Spray, of course, is also in there amongst a lot of other things, a lot of other goodies that we have prepared throughout the season. So make sure you pick it up while you can. It's a limited run, so you got to get it before, I think, the May 11th. So you've got about 2 weeks to be able to snatch that up. But we can go ahead now and focus a little bit further into this series with Shanghai Dragons versus Hangzhou Spark. The bounce back, as you mentioned, for Shanghai, super important. Spark just kind of overall looking for some improvement, but Shanghai, they want to come back into this after getting swept by the Chengdu Hunters.
And just one last thing I'll say about the May skin as well. When I first saw the name, I was like, is that May? No, it's MMA, of course. I got it after a little bit, but there it is. I just had a little bit of trouble reading it. Hangzhou Spark, though, yeah, that 0-2 really hurts right now. As far as the 0-3 for Valiant, I think their run in May Melee is kind of out at this stage. You can see for Guangzhou Charge as well, they need to win their next game. New York would have to be required to win their next game. And, Seoul's looking pretty decent. Shanghai on the bounce back. Maybe we'll have to see how things go today. 1-1's a lot more comfortable than an 0-2 because there's only 8 teams here. 4-0 obviously means Philadelphia are in there. Chengdu with 3-1, they're in there as well. If you make 3-1, you're like in the top 4 here. You get to go into the regional tournament knockouts. If you're 2-2, you're probably waiting for a tiebreaker. If you're 1-3, you're gone. If you're 0-4, you're obviously gone.
Yeah, it's just, rough positions to be in. So, unfortunately for the Valiant, for the Spark, they need to kick it into high gear. And I mean, if the Spark could come out swinging and manage to take down the Shanghai Dragons, it'd be a really good boon for them to try to make a run or at least just, give some more faith in the fans for the next tournament split that we'll have coming up in June. Taking a look at our starting 6, though, for the Shanghai Dragons. It's going to be the usual suspects. We have seen some swap-offs on the DPS line here for Shanghai, but it will be Flutta and Lip to kick off the series.
And probably not expecting DM to come in unless it's, the last time he came in was, for Watchpoint Gibraltar. Everyone kind of remembers that Shanghai lost to Chengdu, though, and Chengdu have kind of solidified themselves as one of the top teams in the APAC region. I truly think Chengdu are probably the top 2 currently alongside the Fusion. And beyond that, we still have a few questions to be answered, of which the Hangzhou Spark. I mean, we have Somitsu starting out on the first map. Shai's coming in. These 2 guys we've only seen for 1 map previously when Spark have played, so they'll be starting together now. No Godspeed, no Architect, and this Spark roster has played at least one of Godspeed or Architect pretty much the entire way through. Tested out a little bit of Takoyaki, back on to Kushui, Burner, IDK, and MCD have been there the entire time. And while Spark, I think the biggest question mark or maybe topic that's been talked about recently here, Seth, is the fact that Spark did have a coaching staff change, and I do wonder how much of an impact that's going to have on the team.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really fast turnaround and a big step up. For the new coaching staff to take hold of this roster and try to find some success and, make up for the initial first few matches where, they haven't been able to find too much success. So Min-Soo, though, coming back in, it's good to see. He's undefeated currently in the Overwatch League. The one map that he did play, he was able to win it. So that's a really good boon for them. So we'll see if that is going to be a carrying trend as we move forward into Nepal for our first map of Control. We can go straight into the action here, Avril. Not wasting any time. We're going for the 112 tonight, it would seem. 2 back-to-back quick series, and we're straight into game. Feels like less than 5 minutes since the last one finished.
And I do wonder, what do Hangzhou do with Min-Soo and Shy? It's going to be Village first. I'm seeing Shy on towards the Symmetra. He'll be changing over towards the McCree. So likely it's going to be, Min-Soo May. He can actually kind of hover the Reaper. Maybe he brings it out. That's a Min-Soo special. Obviously it's Friday now, so why not? Here we go. All's coming through straight away. And it's the first brawl where you already have Gushue taking a bit of damage.
He does manage to back out, so they don't get that full punish. Couldn't quite get the gap close on him, so you can see the panic in Gushue's eyes for a moment as he turns around and there's a wall blocking him off, but does successfully retreat in with the rest of his squad. 4 walls coming up on the side. This is going to be the first one to get picked. That's a good opening for Shy. And without that, supercharged beam coming through from the Symmetra. They can press forward. Wall coming up to try to block off the remaining members, but Shy, fan of the hammer, breaks through. Mortality field up, now going to be destroyed for both squads. Pinar and Gushue both getting beaten and battered, taking a little bit low. And they will find the finish as Izayaki builds up a very rapid wall there, gets the window down. They find the kill on the enemy main tank.
And that's the thing, even with the lip down, Izayaki gets the first ultimate. Fate even charges up this Earth Shatter as well, and we don't have anything to work with on the Spark side of things. They get lip down, and that should be enough. That's going to be most of the damage from Shanghai gone, and still Shanghai manages to overpower the Spark. The fight's still continuing, at least for a little bit, with Shy going down. Just extra deaths on the side of Hangzhou Spark.
Just great awareness there from Izayaki, gets the call, Flutters on the flank, he spots that low HP bar, throws out the immortality field immediately, and it's enough to save his life, so they win the little extended fight here and build up towards some of these ultimates. Izayaki already at 65% for the next Amp Matrix. Nearly at 6 though for the side of the Hangzhou Spark, so let's see if they can utilize some of these. Before we do have that Sim barrier come out from Lip to try and get a flip on the point. Shattered, straight in around the corner, but the ice block does come through from Min-Soo, keeping himself protected. Deadeye coming up to return. Shatter from Gushue is absolutely huge. The Deadeye from Shy manages to find 2. Looks for the pin, not able to find anything. Lip will take out Gushue, but then he falls in it. That's going to be good enough here for the Spark. They throw a couple ults at the port. Everything sticks, and now they get the point flip getting ready to come through.
I think Shanghai knew they were down ultimates there as well. Their only real shot was to try and catch the Spark off guard, and maybe a shatter coming through from Fate that Spark are not ready for. Just a little bit of scouting there. Great block coming through from Min-Soo, like you said. If we're Hangzhou Spark to not quite be hit by a Fate shatter, just kind of allows the Hangzhou Spark to have this massive ult advantage they can walk through with, of which they still save to, importantly. Do have that pendulum swing over to the other side. The Square Dragons will have the ultimate advantage. Finally, the Photon Barrack pop down straight away.
Yeah, Wall coming up defensively as they hide in the corner. Bernard around the back does have that self-destruct. He's going to throw it out. Shy on a nice flank, comes around the side, gets rid of Izayaki. And Matrix now not really going to be utilized, at least not for heals. Pushing on with the right click will take out Gushue, but it's at the cost of Fate and Lip. It seems like Spark shouldn't be able to win this follow-up fight. Self-destruct from Void will get a pick as MCD falls. That's not going to be good enough though. Shy swinging out wide on this flank angle, catches Flutter with no HP, manages to get the kill. Now they're just looking for the D-Mech onto Void to buy some extra time, but the heals are flying in from Izayaki to try to keep him in that suit. Seems like they might just be able to get him out of there. The poop off the side, Jets do come back up. They'll retreat over as IDK looks for an extra kill. Hasn't quite been able to find Lee Jae-gon, however.
Extra stagger, Izayaki dies fairly quickly there, pops down the window. Lee Jae-gon doesn't save him with the sound barrier. IDK drops onto all 6, they're fine. And now as we start moving forward, more ultimates for the Hangzhou Spark, looking towards that Blizzard. Definitely caught up now as far as percentage goes on the actual cap itself. Hangzhou Spark, decent bounce back. They lost that first fight, but since then, it's been all Hangzhou all day. Shy with the Deadeye. Going to open up with that one. That could be a pretty decent one to start things out with.
Throw the wall up. This Fleta forces them off the high ground back down to the point now, but just looking at the ults, kind of have to favor the shot. The Spark rather just a little bit here. Stuns come in, Immortality Field thrown down, trying to keep him alive. Gushue will be the first one to fall. Fate finding the kill. Blizzard picking away, however, from Min-Soo. They look for the follow-up. Izayaki and Fate now eliminated. Knockout on Bernard's mech. The Baby Diva will fall. Cap starting to come through, but it's with a very limited roster right now for the side of the Shanghai Dragons as they look to take this. Punching coming through, gets IDK. The flip is there, but Spark, they're at 99%, and they're coming back with ult.
Really, you know, for Flitter as well, Flitter goes into the full cryo freeze there to dodge out Somasus. Blizzard has the counter Blizzard ready to go, but is very trusting in his team to stay alive. Importantly, Lip didn't go down there. Lip must have got himself out of that Blizzard coming through from Somasu. So with Flitter dropping down his own Blizzard, Lip getting the damage in was enough. Trey, you ready for Fade around the corner again? Shadow's available. This is going to be final fight territory, 80% plus on the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Importantly, that window is available for Izayaki. They need to use this sooner rather than later.
Oh, dropping down. It's looking for the setup. He'll manage to find Gushue. All targets, that is one that they cannot afford to lose. That is going to be the Shadow taken out of the fight. Gushue going to have to try to run back. 98%. They do manage to tap in. Force out overtime as the sound barrier comes in from Lee Jae-gon, topping up Lip, keeping him in the fight. Tracks down IDK on the wall. That's going to be the sound barrier now removed before he can get it online. At 99%, it seems like that might be as good as it gets here for the Spark in all facets. The Shadow from Gushue goes straight into the Shield of Fate. A great block from him. They zone them off the point long enough, and the Shanghai Dragons will be able to take Village, but it's damn close between the two teams.
What an insane wall coming through as well from Fleta, just blocking out the rotation from the Hangzhou Spark. And then on top of that, Deadeye will collect Gushue, such an important member to get down. That's the Earthshatter gone. IDK dies at 98%, I believe, towards the sound barrier. And EJ knows, like, I'm not waiting for anything. There's no Blizzard coming in. We know the Shadows off the table at this stage. Go for a tempo sound barrier. There's no response from the Hangzhou Spark. As soon as EJ goes for that ultimate, I'm looking at IDK. Where's the response? Is there a response? There's not going to be one. So, big final fight coming through from the Shanghai Dragons to secure things, but a lot of back and forth. Kilios, I've got to say, it's 99 to 100. Hangzhou Spark were definitely holding their own. I think Lip probably overstayed on the Symmetra, if anything, in the early fights. I didn't think you'd really want to be on Symmetra for that neutral, but there it was, and now it goes. No team wants to fight with Symmetra. It's going to be pretty much an exact even mirror on both ends.
Yep. Just across the board. Flip the May and McCree around in their positions. Otherwise, you got it. Gushue taking a ton of damage as he approaches the point. So is Void on the other side. Summon-Su, however, they're going to be the first one to fall. Good shot coming up from Lee Jae-gon, getting that kill. Looks to follow up onto the Baby Diva, but Lip will snipe her out of the air. And it's going to be a very clean first fight win here for the side of Shanghai.
And that's Somasu just dying. What did he die to? Lee Jae-gon somehow. It's another very early neutral being won. So Cap, Shanghai looking at ultimates. Last time Shanghai actually got ultimates before they won that neutral, and you start to see Izayaki drop down a window way before MCD. That's actually going to happen again. Izayaki on 80, MCD on 42, so this is a very fast amplification matrix versus what the side of Spark currently have. And I mean, can they even rotate through this area on top, because it's been guarded pretty heavily by Shanghai. Spark know it, and they have to rotate through main instead.
Yeah, just go ahead, swing around that left side. Look to get in onto the point from here. Wall coming up, trying to block Gushue in. Just has to keep that shield raised. Would love to take some swings in. They're trying to build up where that shatter. Even as they try to continue to aggress, they do have this amp matrix that can be used. Izayaki's still going to be holding onto it as Lip fishes for something with that Deadeye. Doesn't manage to find anybody, but IDK does get picked off. Bernard getting beaten and battered, will get knocked out of the mech. So Min-Su taken down again before he can use this Blizzard. And it's just going to be some further additional staggers here on the back end of the fight as Izayaki tries to get another amp matrix online.
And I thought maybe it was going to be amp matrix. Amp matrix from Izayaki first. It ends up being the Deadeye coming through first as well. And this is off the back of, I believe, IDK dying, so no speed for the engage or the disengage. MCD eventually does have an amp matrix, but the team is dead. 66% and counting up. 2/3 done for the Shanghai Dragons. Spark will be able to come back in with the ultimates finally. There is going to be that one Deadeye advantage, plus the amp matrix, I say, but Izayaki's honestly getting another one very quickly. This needs to be a fast fight. Deadeye straight away from Shy.
Speed boost to try to move Shy up onto the point just a little bit faster, but he's not going to be able to find anything with that. Now the wall coming up, trying to lock him in. He's trying to break it down with the fan, the hammer. Immortality Field comes out to try to keep him alive. Sound barrier is going to be there from Lee Jae-gon. IDK still 25% away, so cannot match. Summon-Su, the first one to fall yet again. Not going to be able to use the Blizzard to try to turn around the fight. Just gets picked off. Bernard desuited. Throws out the self-destruct, but won't be able to find anything. Punch to the back of the skull, finishes him off, and it's looking like this is going to be 100-0 after a very close round. And Summon-Su throws at the Blizzard, but I don't know exactly where it was. I think it might have been back by the dropship because he knew it was done. Shanghai Dragons take it very cleanly. A very swift reply from them after a close round on Village. They move over to the Shrine, and it's just not close at all.
I mean, this needed to be that Deadeye fight coming through where you see Shy being sped in with a Deadeye. That has to be the successful fight for the Spark, or there's just not going to be one at all. Sound barrier advantage once again going the way of Shanghai Dragons. IDK's like 10% or so away again. We're just not quite hitting the ult timings. Somansu, yeah, he does have the Blizzard available, but the kind of contrast of what we saw is when we were on Village, Flitter had the Blizzard at the same time as Somansu. Somansu gets a Blizzard first, Flitter survives the Cryo Freeze, and then still ends up dropping a Blizzard into counter. Somansu he gets caught, he dies, and it's all over. Gooseray gets caught in the Blizzard as well, refrozen by Flitter, and it's done. This was just a case of Spark being behind the 8 ball on Village consecutively, and they never caught up.
Well, a rough start here for the side of the Spark, but Shanghai Dragons flying high at the beginning of the series, now kicking things off 1-0. Map 2 is going to be coming up next, and we'll see if the Spark can tie it, or if Shanghai Dragons will just continue to run away with this. So don't go anywhere, guys. Map 2 coming up in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
All right, welcome back. Well, a very swift first map there in the series. Nepal goes the way of Shanghai Dragons. A little bit of back and forth in the first round, but as we go to Shrine, Shanghai very much collecting themselves, and Spark kind of falling apart a little bit at the seams. Weren't able to build a cohesive team fight. Never really got on the point at all. So 100-0 to close out Nepal. Now we look forward to Volskaya Industries to see if the Spark can turn this around.
It's a case of Spark, especially on, definitely on both the sub-maps, but way more exposed on Shrine there, just how far behind they are in those neutrals. They're struggling to get the ultimates. The first neutral on Village goes long enough that the ultimates become a factor, but the neutral on Shrine ends so quickly off the back of just, individual picks coming through. Who died early? I think it was IDK that dies early, but no matter what, there's always this kind of early death on the Spark they have to come back against. And Shrine was really rough for them because they never caught up. We didn't even see the sound barrier. We saw none of that. What we are seeing now, though, is some of the substitutions coming on through. So DM over Lip, Architect over Somansu. And what's going to be sad about this is, it's Friday, but we didn't even get to see the Reaper. Somansu's gone. Maybe he'll come back a little bit later, but it's going to be the Shy and Architect show for map 2.
Yeah, and that also shatters Somansu's perfect record in the Overwatch League, so now he's got a 50% win rate. So
50-50,
cut in half, unfortunately, for him. But we'll see if he's going to be able to, maybe make a reappearance later on in the series, especially if Spark can extend things. Because no one wants to have 3-3-0s in an evening. Give me a 5-map set. Give me something to yell about for a while. I got vocal cords of steel. I can yell for hours on end. I don't like this hour-and-a-half nonsense where the matches come in and I don't even get to put any strain on my voice.
Overwatch,
come on. Yeah. I need to be irresponsible
my makeup on
to
for
use
some
of
3
my voice.
Overwatch, right?
Yeah,
we'll
nobody
see,
likes
could be a good
that,
one.
So.
Could be a good one. I think Shy Architect together, what you could expect here is Shy's actually come in for a decent amount of Sombra. The Ash has been there as well. Architect on just about any sort of hero. Trace has been decent. Possibility of an Echo, although the way I look at this moving into Volskaya is probably more Ash Tracer-based gameplay, which is what I'm expecting. Would explain why DM's in as well, for the Tracer DM on towards the Ash, and that's probably the case for both sides. Fate and Gushue on the ball here. I'd probably look at that as well. It's a very popular pick on Volskaya. So yeah, we'll see if the Fate ball matches up. A lot of people have been looking at and zooming in Fate, especially when Shanghai's losing. People have been zooming in on Fate. So, you know, Fate's Ryan, cool. Winston, cool. We'll see if the ball matches up as well. Gushue, not really known for the ball. We'll see if that works out for him. Obviously, these players can go towards... I mean, you could still play the double bubble here. The backline of Hangzhou Spark was a bit of a letdown in that last map, I got to say, on the poll. You know, part of both players being picked out, not getting ultimates early, Izuyaki outpacing MCD hard, Lee Jae-gon outpacing IDK hard as well. Those are two things, and especially on the support line, that I need to see changed and improved for Spark in this map.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. And again, you know, this is a team that is undergoing, you know, a very serious change in having the new coaching staff and whatnot. So it is going to take a little bit of time. There is some leniency that we can, you know, give to the Spark, you know, for the moment while they do get adjusted to the new coaching staff and whatnot. So, you know, things need to get strung together. It's very much the same for NYXL. They've got a lot of rookies coming together. There's going to be some, you know, quote, stage jitters happening now that they're playing on the big broadcasts and whatnot. So, I think we kind of all anticipated that the May Melee, the start of the 2021 season, was going to be a little bit rough for some of these squads. It's about seeing that improvement as time goes on.
Sure.
So for June especially, we're going to be looking for some wild improvements for all of these teams that are currently struggling.
Yeah, I think if you're Spark and we're looking at this from a long-term project kind of prospecting, I agree with you. But in the short term, for now, if we're looking at May Melee, like I said before we got into the first map, it's a must-win series for the Hangzhou Spark. If they go out here, it's a 1-3 record. What? Yeah, they're not going to have a good enough record. At best, it's a 1-3 record, I should probably say. So, I don't know. It's do or die here for May Melee specifically. I agree. Again, I agree with you that if we're looking towards a longer term, with the coaching changes, not expecting massive improvements right off the bat, although you're hopeful, I think if you're a Hangzhou Spark fan, you're hopeful that the coaching changes will improve things. But you're up against Shanghai Dragons, which is maybe a bit of an unlucky time to go up against a top team in APAC. And I know what you're about to say. Shanghai just got 0-3 by Chengdu, but that was a couple weeks ago. We'll give Shanghai a little bit of benefit of the doubt here because they have been a top team. We'll give them one loss. They always lose to Chengdu early in the season. You know how it is. And now Shanghai Dragons look like they're at least back to normal form.
Yep. Well, mild swap's going to be coming through. Seems like we will just end up with this Tracer Ash Mirror. You have Gushue, however, on his signature Winston.
So double bubble coming through from the Spark. And it will be the Sigma ball coming through from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Lee Jae-gon into the Mercy as well, pocketing DM. That's where the damage is going to come from. So they've decided where the carry potential is going to be. Gushue down instantly, and there it is, pocketing onto DM, plus the Discord as well. Damage boost, and Gushue is melted.
Yeah, I mean, good pile driver as well. Puts Gushue's head right above the bubble. DM playing up close is inside of it, so they managed to break it down. They get the kill. So it's a good early start here for him. IDK as well, from a little pressure. It's Fleta and Izuyaki. A nice little crossfire set up. Fleta just keeping his attention from the front. Izuyaki getting those orbs in from behind the shield. So, a good initial start to the hold here for the Shanghai Dragons. Lee Jae-gon nearly with the Valkyrie online. As MCD gets domed there for just a second by DM. Will get top back up.
Izuyaki, by the way, I believe first in damage as Zenyatta across the board, so very dangerous Zenyatta player. And now as we start heading to the ultimates, you got potential for a tempo Valkyrie in play. You have, you know, Architect on the other side, quite close to the pulse. It's the Nano that we're waiting for, though. Nano on the Gushue to open the door. Bernard doesn't really have energy to play with it because Hangzhou have been reset so many times. And they lose sight the worst moment here at Gladiators. They're waiting to engage with Nano, and they're down a player.
Yeah, now they can't go. We just kind of have to wait this one out. Bernard, see if that just go for just a second. Architect's still going to be committing the pulse bomb to the fight. Doesn't manage to find a stick. No kill. Fleta doing the same. Also going to be a miss. So no extended punishment onto the side of the Spark. But as I say that, I am just caster cursing it. Yep, Izuyaki. He finds IDK yet again. A few members still going to be stuck in the garage, but now they're going to pull the trigger on this. That's going to be the go button. Izuyaki does fall. Good pinch there from Architect. So does not get to use it, but the res comes in from Lee Jae-gon. They don't get a punish here onto the Mercy, despite the fact that the Bionic did connect. DM going to be gone. Izuyaki still holding on to the Transcendence, however. Pushed into the corner. Trying to peel for him by using this Flux. Lijigon gonna get dropped, but it's traded out for Gushue before he can get the Primal Rage up. Still not really stepping onto the point, not generating any percentage. Void just trying to displace Bernard and kill this high energy Zarya, but they finally break free, get out of the cubbies, out of the garage, make their way onto the point. They're gonna start taking up.
Honestly, that's not bad from Gushue in the back of MCD as well. This fight's not quite over fully. Iziaki gets shy, and now Fled and the rest of Shanghai actually backing towards play. Iziaki's quite low. DM can still bomb this. If they really want to play, the bomb has to come out, and it does.
Yeah, does get tossed in. Bernard is getting rolled over there by Fate. I mean, not getting the kill onto Fleta. He comes right back into the fight, and I mean, Iziaki just sitting unhindered in the back the entire time. He picked up like 4 kills in this extended fight on the Zenyatta. I mean, you know, we were talking about it before the series even started. Iziaki is leading in so many metrics right now as far as Zenyatta is concerned. He's right in the middle when it comes down to deaths. So 5th fewest deaths, and I mean, just leading the charge in things like damage and healing from transcendences and whatnot. He's getting so much value, and this is this map already is such a clear showing of why he is on top.
I can tell you right now, Iziaki currently has more damage done than Bernard does in Zarya, so that's saying a lot currently in terms of what Zenyatta is bringing to the table. He's nearly got another trance. He used a tempo trance after being raised up. Bernard hasn't used a grab yet, and Iziaki's back into action. They're ready to go for it. Void has some flux as well. The nano comes on through. Kushrin needs to find value.
He's looking for Lijigon, but he's not going to be able to find him. The pulse bomb comes in, and everybody just collapses in onto the Winston. They take him out. Grab is used. They do manage to find a couple kills on the back end. Now Architect coming in with 2. Bernard scooping 1 apiece, and it seems like finally the Spark will be able to lock this down. It's going to be an OT as Fate just gives himself up. So they do get the cap onto point A. Will not be seeing a full hold here. But, I mean, time bank severely limited, only going to be 3 minutes added here for them, and there's several defensive options available now for the side of the Shanghai Dragons to hold this out a little bit longer. They have the flux, the minefield to clear the point. So let's see how Spark tries to pilot this.
I gotta say, you know, Hangzhou Spark look like they've been struggling on that attack, but when they do have Nano available and Gushue finds the good target, he drops onto Lijigon, forces the tempo trance from Iziaki because they can't afford to lose Lijigon's Mercy. Because of that, there's no trance versus the grab. So we talked about, yeah, Iziaki's got this grab, got the trance for the grab, doesn't get to use the counter. Void has a flux, drops it on top of both, and well, IDK's gone.
Yep, cleans up both of the supports. They're still going to be committing the minefield here to the fight, so we'll see if Fate is going to be swapping up anything after using this. He still wants to stick in with the Wrecking Ball. Either way, Gushue completely contained upstairs, just gets eliminated in the end. And it's going to be a solid hold. Fate going into the back, it's a knock-up, sets up for the kill onto Shy, and now he'll just retreat back in with the rest of the team.
Right, so there's not going to be a double cap, and if you're Hangzhou Spark, you really would have liked to have seen a double cap. You lost a lot of time over towards A. You know, do a little bit of catch-up here. And another interesting factor is after A was done, Iziaki's damage on Zen was only 100 behind Fleta's damage on Tracer, so Iziaki had been pumping up damage. That gap has, you know, widened a bit, and now as we progressed over towards B and looking over towards the next Nano, that's really the time that Spark has been looking for. Again, every single Nano onto Gushue has at least found value in terms of pressure. I wouldn't be surprised if Gushue finds the ability to land on Lijigon again. That's Valkyrie having to be instantly popped. There's a lot of pressure and a lot of, you know, focus having to go over towards Gushue, who will have a primal as well.
I mean, just look how far forward Shanghai are fighting right now, just playing completely away from the point. They're not concerned at all about any sort of back cap. They just say, you know what, we can contain them at the gate. They invest the bomb up front. They reroute the Spark, delay their approach by about 20 seconds or so there. Just on the back of that one ultimate. Mana boost is online. Can use it for Gushue. He does have the primal. Needs to get an immense amount of value with it.
It's taken a lot of time to get here. I mean, the time bank wasn't that huge, but down to just 1 minute now, which means this almost needs to be a perfect fight. There's not really a lot of room to reset. Shy onto Fate. Here we go. That's the go signal. Lijigon must raise that.
Yeah, that is huge. Fate gone. Valkyrie going to get popped by Lijigon. Let's see if he can pull off the res. So far, haven't been able to see it. Pulse bomb going in. DM going to be taken down as Gushue jumps up to the top. They look for the res. They will put DM back into the fight. Fate now respawn, but getting melted off screen. Primal Rage going to get popped. They're looking for the kill. They will be able to find it. The bomb from Shy taking down Fate as well. Now Lijigon swatted out of the sky like the moth that he is. With Void gone, it seems like Hangzhou Spark should be able to get the cap on the B. The question is, can Shanghai Dragons try and delay and force this into overtime? In 17 seconds remaining to grab. Not going to find anything there from Bernard zoning, as you say. They're ticking up onto the point. It's just 12 more seconds to be bought, but they cannot touch. They cannot get there. They cannot force this into OT. So Spark, they managed to complete full sky with time in the bank.
Huge. I mean, that opening shot coming through from Shy, getting that player advantage. Fate goes down. No res. DJ goes Valkyrie. I don't know if he attempted to go for it or not. Maybe Fate dies into, you know, a really unresable spot. But a 6v5 confirmed, and for Hangzhou Spark, the most important fight. They even, they capped with 11 seconds remaining. So that's what I'm talking about. Is there's no real time to reset here. If they lose a player, they have to think about: do we go 5v6? Do we have time to wait? I guess we could wait. At that point, you guarantee the overtime. If they go and they lose that fight over a full commit, though, I think it's done. And you have another situation where Izayaki has to tempo trance, or he chooses to tempo trance. I'm looking towards Bernard's ult. He has Graviton Surge available. Doesn't end up needing it. Just sends out a message, sends out a statement that says, here's a zoning grav. Didn't even need it to win. Boost rate, MCD plus Shy, nano boost, and then Shy shooting people carried that entire fight. And well, Hangzhou Spark with 11 seconds to spare are gonna get across that finish line. Just.
Yeah. Well, let's see what Shanghai can set up for themselves. Spark need to be looking for this all-in play just to try to hold them at A. I feel like it'll just kind of slip up from there. Fleta maybe looking for a pop shot at the very beginning, see if he can get a headshot onto somebody like IDK. MCD would be huge value.
And there's no mercy.
But no, it's not going to go for it.
That'd be like a permadeath.
Yep.
Like I said, no, I think you should go for it. It'd be kind of cool, you go for it, and if you do get it, it's pretty high value. You don't lose that much by going for it. Once again, Lee Jae starts out on the Mercy, pocketing DM. That's where they want the most of their damage to come through. That being said, their DM is maybe not doing as much damage you'd expect. It's actually Shy, top of the tables here on like nearly 7k. He's really pumping it out. Fleta takes quite a big hit as well.
So does Bernard, though. Being chucked down below half HP. Bionade in onto Izayaki. They're looking for the finishing blow. Haven't been able to find it. He's still just fishing for these right-click hold kills. Get it, but they slow up Shanghai Dragons as the healing has to come through. Zoom in ahead, nearly with that Valkyrie online, just to make him that much more annoying to lock down in the skies.
Kind
Left
of
side,
racing MCD, by the way. It's this nano that we're waiting for. Again, you really have to look at the double bubble and say that's the win condition. Bernard's taking damage. As long as no one on Spark is dying, it's fine. You're just trying to build forward MCD's nano. He's nearly got it now. They can engage. Shanghai's taking a lot of space, which means as soon as nano's available, Gushra and MCD gotta go.
Up over the top is Fade. Bubble thrown down, zapping onto multiple members. The nano boost does go through. It's on the Gushway, pushes into the back man just to find Izayaki. He's looking for a little bit more. Reinforcements now, storming through. He makes it out, 17 HP. Can somebody get some heals onto this man? No, they cannot do so. And Lee Jae gets the res onto Izayaki, so the nano play on a Gushway, it ends up just getting counter punished very heavily. Now the back of the fight is just going all the way of Shanghai Dragons. They will clean this up. They will get the cap, and it is going to be a monstrous time bank available to Shanghai to take the second point.
And it was starting to look positive for Hangzhou as well. They finished the map, can A, be successful. We're just eyeing down that nano boost to see if it can be played in time. The most important thing that happened there, though, was that Shanghai took a lot of space for free. You saw them kind of start pushing back against Hangzhou, who are losing space, losing more and more angles to work with. Shy doesn't feel confident going up against DM when DM's being pocketed as well. So really, it's nano do or die. Even with the nano, Gushra doesn't have enough ult charge to confirm the primal. He takes too much damage, has to back away, and there's no good trades from Spark at all. So nearly 5 minutes on the time bank, and the possibility of a double cap as well. Bernard has grab available, would need to stop this, but Izayaki should be able to counter.
Fleta dead off the bat. Really good start there from Shy. Throws at the bomb as well, just to have some extra pressure here onto the point, or off the point rather, over at the entrance. They will take this down. Still looking to play forward, it would seem. Just wait patiently.
Res, by the way, so they actually disengaged there. I thought maybe, okay, the Bleach Egg on Res is Fleta. It depends where he dies. If Fleta dies too far forward, that's not going to be it. But Shy's actually been kind of the hidden MVP so far of Sky. He's had some decent opening picks. If you can do that again, that would be brilliant. Still haven't played this grab, so that's going to be pretty much the first minute gone with the attack.
Well, they're looking for the dive into the back. Architect accompanying Gushway. Pops the Primal Rage. Discord Orb is out on him, so he still has to show a lot of respect to the damage output here from the side of Shanghai. So it does force him back in the end. Sword of Harmony out on the Fleta now as he looks for a flanking position. Somebody to stick this pulse bomb to. He'll swing around the left side. His voice starts inching forward. 1.5 tick, already being taken here. Nearly 50% on the board to the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Fleta with the pulse. Managed to find IDK. The rally now not in the fight. Graviton Surge comes out from Bernard. Catches a few members, but they need to get the kills. So far, it's only going to be Fate going down as Gushway gets that stomp. Rez comes in instantly, however, from Lee Jae and now Bernard is going to be killed from the back end, so they lose on the high energy Zarya. Nano boost in onto Gushway, but again, the Discord Orbs are making it so very difficult for him, and he will fall in the end. The rally now rolling from IDK, but he's got no one realistically to offer up armor to. Puts a little bit on the Shy. It's forced back off the point, but does manage to stay alive for a little bit longer. Now with Fleta gone, the counter pressure can come through. IDK pushes up, looks for Izayaki to try to send him off the side of the map. Waiting for that whip shot, but won't get the line of sight onto him. Now starts reaggressing, but that's a fight won.
That's damage done. You know, it's a fight won by Spark, but what about the 2 ticks that go the way of Shanghai Dragons? That's a lot of distance gain. There's a lot of momentum there. It's actually incredible. Now there's only 1 tick remaining. You have a case where Izayaki didn't even use a trance to counter Burner. I think Izayaki's just saying today he doesn't care about the grab at all. Burner pops the grab onto the high ground. There's no Bionade follow-up. I don't know if MCD had it. Maybe he missed. Nano came pretty late as well. I think if you just Nano Gushue get in and confirm the damage of the grab, that would be okay. The grab, or rather the Nano, had to be used to kind of save the point, considering that the Primal was gone as well. Shia respawns, gets a Dynamite kill, and look, thankfully for Hangzhou, they were able to respawn and use that kind of respawn advantage to go into their favor. If they lost more players there, if it wasn't, you know, Gushue holding a little bit longer, having the Nano popped in, could have been pretty disastrous because the grab was certainly not it.
But an Architect duking out. Somebody's got to get onto the point. They finally contested here, but it's 95.4% now on the board for the side of Shanghai. Feint, low HP, does have to exit. Void as well, quite low, so they will disengage. Gushue had gone in with that Primal Rage. Good things onto Void. Not enough to get him out of the mech. Shy now down to 5 health. He comes right up over the top. The bomb from DM taking out Bernard. Gushue now falling, and it seems like this should be the cap here. Izayaki puts MCD in the ground. Pulse bomb down, not going to find anything, but the fight still widely going the way of the Shanghai Dragons. With that final kill in the back of the Primal, a great pulse bomb eat from Void. They will be able to cap this. 2 minutes 35 seconds on board here for the side of Shanghai. Just 1 minute for the Spark.
It's another low-value Primal. I don't know what's going on here in terms of Gushue having to pop these. Is he trying to dive too deep here? Is he in, you know, over his head? You know, is he trying to get the Primal in for some reason? Is he doing it on purpose? But 2 Primals in a row now. Shanghai just waited out. It's like, you want a Primal? We'll chill. We don't have to go yet. We got time. We got 2 ticks. You're the ones under pressure here. Please Primal into us. We don't respond. We're not going to use anything. You got a Primal, and we're going to chill, and that's going to be it. So, this was Izayaki being dropped by Gushue, and this was that Valkyrie being popped in that very first fight, by the way. So here's me speaking positively about Gushue. This is when the user Nano and Gushue was able to put the pressure on, and because of the kill to Izayaki, which forced the Valkyrie and the res coming through from DJ on the Soul Healer, that really allowed the Hangzhou Spark to regain a lot of positioning, which was quite important, because that was them going 5v6, by the way. They won that fight 5v6, I think. Oh no, they didn't win that fight. They'd come in for a secondary fight, but they got a lot of progress. Another talking point for me so far has been, you know, I've referred back to this a few times, just been checking it over it as we move along the map. Izayaki has now climbed up in damage again to be about 100 away from Flair. Flair's on 6.1k, Izayaki's on 6k, and here's a fun fact for you. Architect's on 5.9k. So again, Izayaki has actually got more damage done than a DPS or an important play on the Hangzhou Spark.
The guy's good. That's why he's leading in a lot of metrics here for the Zenyatta. I mean, yeah, that initial hold on point A was doing wonders for him.
Everyone wants to see Molly get played, but Izayaki's fragging right now. Like, this is the thing. Like, Shanghai are back on form. They're looking good. 2 minute 35 time back. 1 minute for Hangzhou Spark to try and get something done. I gotta say that for Hangzhou to win this, they gotta complete A. I think if they don't complete A, it's not looking good.
Yeah, need to get that completion percentage. Likely not going to be good enough for them. Let's see how they fare. Izayaki playing on this flank yet again. Elevated up onto the high ground, holding on the right clicks, trying to weave those straight into the garage. Doesn't quite get the hit that they were looking for, but Gushue in the meantime left out the dry. Does die, but Shy trades back some damage, finds Izayaki. Lee J gone, can he get the res off? Might need to hold it now as Feint will fall. Res already going to be committed, however, onto the support, so Feint's going to have to rejoin into the fight. DM now crumbles, and it seems like the Spark have finally broken through. Just a few seconds remaining. They're starting to tick up here onto the point, and the respawns are not going to come in fast enough. Void so slow to rejoin the action. Architect falling low, pulls back around the corner. Shanghai, how badly did they want to commit in for this? Izayaki just going to be dropping down onto the point by a little bit of extra time as Luddick goes into the back line, but the rest of the squad looks for the reset. They get set up now to defend on point B.
Well, there it is. You know, that's going to be the side relief for Hangzhou Spark. They get the A point required. Can they get more than that? The Nano's available. It's going to be a good shot. I think at this stage, depending on Bernard's energy, it's too low, 35. I was going to say maybe Nano Bernard to get this, you know, grab it on Surge online, even though Izayaki's not going to care about it either way, apparently. It will be Nano to Gushue, I'm pretty sure. They need to get, if they can get maybe 1 tick here on B, they'll be even in a better position. But I think the completion on A should be enough. Now it's just bonus. What kind of bonus progress can they get on B?
Bob online. It's going to be sent out by the Shy as he takes a little bit of damage. Pulse bump from Fleta will find him, and Architect replies, gets both tanks with a single pulse. Huge play from him. Lijiang, however, while taking quite a bit of damage, does manage to escape with the Valkyrie and to bring his bait back into the fight. Does not have the primal rage though. Guangzhou is holding on to one of his own. He can clear the point. He's gonna pop it now, looking to knock him away, and maybe Spark can actually get this double cap in OT. They get a little bit of a corner juggle there onto Izayaki. They displace him. They get the kill. They're knocking him off the point. Ticking up even closer. There's so much staying power. The grab even available, but it's not necessary. The Spark turn around in a huge way here in OT, and they get the double cap. Amazing from them.
My goodness, that's clutch with a capital C right there. Architect heard me talking smack, and now he's like, you know what? A double pulse will certainly boost my numbers up, and does. Didn't even really need Bernard's grab. It comes last second. Guangzhou, Architect, and the rest have already won it. Insane. The fact that this double cap comes in, and I think it comes off the back of winning A quite successfully. There it is, just a replay of it, sticking it on towards Fate, runs it into Void. The one res as well, so sure, okay, we can say one of them got undone, but it puts enough pressure onto the back, forces the res to come on through, and really allows Hangzhou Spark to find footing, because despite reses coming on in, it's just taking the Mercy off the table for a little bit, and putting the pressure on the cap and everything else. No tanks being available is a big point here. Both Fate and Void going down at the same time. So incredible for Spark, where I said the minimum requirement, I think, to win the sign back would be the cap A, and they're saying, you know what, let's double it. Let me double down. How about we get A and B? And this is where Hangzhou Spark have not only given themselves a shot to win, they probably almost have won. It would require Shanghai now to do even better than this. Shanghai have much more time. They have more than double the amount of time, but they must get both points, and I think it would require a double cap here as well from Shanghai.
Well, saw them shifting around with a couple different picks in the lobby, but now that they move forward, we'll just be back over to the one set here for Fate. See just how they decide to break through. It's going to be the short half forward. They get a single bubble out of Bernard. Discord Orb doing wonders to force his position. They shift him back over onto the point, but Lijiang, first one to fall. IDK comes up with a kill. He may be able to survive as well, but as I say that, focus damage does come through, so it will be a trade out on these Brigidas. They still have to play this out a little bit slower while they wait for Lijiang to get back into this fight. Limited healing available with Izayaki.
They'll get back before IDK does, so that's going to be advantage the way of Shanghai, at least for the time being. It would require Shanghai to kind of go now. The longer they wait, the quicker IDK returns. They have the flank acquired, I should say, and Shanghai Dragons taking space away from Hangzhou, who can't contest at this stage. They wouldn't want to do it 5v6. In fact, Burnout's quite low. That could have been another 5v6 situation.
MCD.
Nearly the nano for MCD.
Yeah, he has it online now. Thought maybe he was going to get picked up with quite a bit of damage. That's going to be the nano thrown forward here on Guangzhou as he dives into the back. Architect joining in, finds Lijiang. They get the punish hit again, and Architect follows up for a second kill onto Izayaki. Supportless now on the side of the Shanghai Dragons, and they have to pull back. Several members still quite far forward. Could see some extended staggers coming in, and that's exactly what is happening. Spark playing this one out beautifully at the start of this defense. Primal Rage now nearly online. The Bob to buy time. Get a grab, and that's just going to be the cherry on top.
That's what I'm saying as well. You know, when the nanos come through for Spark, they're able to get quite a lot done with that. And even if Guangzhou kind of gets burned, they will get the space. But when you have like kind of an elite Winston on your team, this is what you can, you know, really receive as well. Speaking of receive, Izayaki just taking a bit of a sleep.
That's why on the 3
from MCD. This is more slowdown. I mean, we talked about the 1 minute 30 advantage. That's well and truly gone down to 40 seconds now. Ultimates will count. There's a lot of ultimates coming online for Spark in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, there is going to be this transcendence from Izayaki, but the Bionade, it's well placed enough there from MCD, can completely turn it around. Bernard, 9% out from the Graviton Surge. Continuing to build up. Architect going to be slicking around the back. Shine finds Fleta on the flank. The Pulse Bomb taken out of the fight, and Architect so far undetected. Could just try to force this right now, but the Bionade comes in. He gets the assassination. Izayaki is out of the fight. Tries to go in with that pulse, can't lead to anything else, but Guangzhou is just juggling DM in the corner, takes him out. They touch the point, but they need to get back over to this, and I agree with you. It looks like this is going to be the full hold here in overtime. They managed to tap in for just a moment. It's Void up on the high ground all on his lonesome, but he'll get broken out of the mech, and the Spark have done it. They come back in here on Volskaya looking way cleaner. A rocky start, but in OT especially, they find their footing, and they absolutely rock the Shanghai Dragons.
And that's absolutely incredible. And you know, for all the heroics that Shanghai Dragons, Izayaki doing all this damage, really it's, I don't know, man. Hangzhou Spark have the clutch factor. Shanghai Dragons had the better regulation time. They had, 2:30 versus the 1 minute after we moved the time up to match a little bit. And Hangzhou Spark off for 1 minute, get a double cap, and just to put the cherry on top, you know, we're going to be talking about Architect's double pulse bomb, going to be talking about Goose Ray using nanos while MCD building those nanos, but honestly, Shy came out on top with those individual picks, even at the end there, just finding picks on Flitter and all their other plays as well. 17,881 damage at the end of that map, and that is like 500 above the next guy, so beautiful stuff from Shy.
Wow, really well done from the side of the Hangzhou Spark. They tie us up
5,000 above the next
1-1.
guy.
Oh, okay, even better. 5,000 up. But man, we're tied up now 1-1 as we get ready to go into our third map of this set. I prayed for it, and it has happened. Thank you, Overwatch gods. No 3-0 here in this series. We'll see who takes a lead when we come back for the next map, so do not go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game.
Alrighty, and we are back. We are tied up 1-1. Thank you very much, Overwatch gods. Yet again, I appreciate your patronage here, giving me what I want. We do not have a blowout series here at the start. We are going to be tied up as Hangzhou Spark looked absolutely phenomenal in the overtime rounds here on Volskaya. Shanghai coming in with just, 1.5 times the amount of time bank compared to them, but Spark get the double cap, and then they just completely hold Shanghai at point A. Don't allow them to get anything. It was wonderfully done. Yeah.
My apologies. I did the thing. You got me. What I wanted to say
right.
was,
I did it last week.
Hangzhou Spark. Yeah, well, you get one for the season. That's my one for the season. I'll take it. But hey. We all make mistakes, just like Shanghai on that attack, not even getting a single tick and being full held. Hangzhou Spark, great job there. Staying onto the double bubble, which ends up being really good composition for them, because what it allows you to do is putting Goose Ray into a winning position where he receives resources. Every single nano has been fairly decent. I mean, some of them have been a little bit less, decent, but most of them have been good. Question a couple of primal raise choices. Shanghai can easily just not play into that one. That's fine. But when you get into the clutch moments, go back to the Architect double kill and the Pulse Bomb. You go towards Shy, finding these opening picks as well. And part of the criticism for me was Shanghai on that opening defense, on A defense versus Spark's attack. They were able to get a lot of those Spark members early on. You had IDK dying, you had a bunch of other people dying at different times. Yeah. Goucher was dying, and they never really were able to get an attack going because you had the nano available. But Akitos, you can't go for this attack 5v6. But then they did choose to go 5v6, and it was kind of semi-successful. But eventually, once they stopped dropping plays early and they were then able to get the first bloods instead of giving them away because Shy's starting to hit some shots, then you're talking about Hangzhou Spark being online.
Yeah, I mean, Shy hitting shots. I mean, credit where it's due as well over to MCD, who had some phenomenal sleep darts coming in there. The Bionades just to slow up, not necessarily like turning the tide of a fight, but slowing up the enemies, or weaving one into the back to find Lee Jae Gon, so that Architect comes in, gets that assassination, and they just get that pick off. So it was really good. Everybody kind of leveling up their performance there as time went on. So it's a good look here for the Spark, but does it continue? Shanghai, I know how they can get when they get a little angry. You stir the sleeping dragon, and they can bounce back in a big way. Not going to be seeing any adjustments, though. Architect and DM still in. Bernard still in as we move forward into King's Row.
I feel like DM is a little cursed here because every time they get him in, it's like Shanghai, that's the map they drop. I'm not too sure what's going on there. Shy heavily outperformed DM in that last map. If you're wondering, like, you know, I said that Shy was 5k damage above the next guy. That next guy was DM, so, but then, you know, DM was second highest on 12k. So it's just a case where Shy was performing so big on that Ashe. You're starting to see why Shy is going to play time over God's B now, because previous to this, Hangzhou Spark only played Shy once, and he was primarily playing Sombra. He played a little bit of Ashe. Now he's coming out big time on the Ashe, and they're thinking, could the Ashe, you know, Shy plus Architect, anything that Architect wants to play, that might be the combo. Looking over towards the Hangzhou Spark composition as well, they're going back towards the double bubble, and like I said, that is a good comp for them. They're finding success there, able to put the resources in Goose Shui, and that's the way they want to win.
Yeah. I mean, so that stat just there on your screen, the 5 times that Hangzhou and Shanghai have met each other since 2019. They haven't been able to take a map away from Shanghai, so already a very big improvement on their record. Getting that whole Skya win in now. Let's see if they can do it yet again here on King's Row. Put themselves in pole position and at match point to be able to close out this series. Slow on the start as they get poked coming through main here. This is you know, not going to be the most surprising thing. They make their way through the arches now. They still have to show a lot of respect to these Discord orbs as the Ziyaki is then a pilot the Zenyatta.
Just gonna go.
Oh,
there it is.
Yep, they chuck it in. Look at the HP bars as well. He's just shredding them down. Gushue. A big pickup Void. Now Lee Jae gone, eliminated, and that's just point A gone. Effectively barring a miracle turnaround here. Izayaki's holding on by a thread, but Dynamite takes him down at the end. Great shots, back to back to back from the Shy. I keep saying the Shy, thinking of another Chinese player, but Shy coming in. Sorry, that's the wrong esport. But man,
Shy's in
what
esports.
a crush! What a crushing start here for the Spark. Over 5 minutes for the street space.
Might be called Shy, but nothing shy about the way he's playing right now. That is in your face, as direct as it gets. The headshots flying in, the body shots doesn't matter. Damage flows. It's a combination of Gushue go kill with the nano, followed by Shy hit the shots. And he's Yaki right now. Do you really want to be in the open versus Shy, with considering the amount of damage that Shy's been able to output? Funny enough, his DMs will be able to get the Bob early enough.
Yeah, I should clarify before somebody pushes up their glasses and goes, well, actually, the Shy is he's a Korean player, but he plays in China. Anyway, we'll go back into this now. Don't want you know, don't want the nerds calling me out on Reddit and all that stuff. So for now,
Shanghai
will be this main control coming in.
They actually win the skirmish without using Bob, which is quite critical, because I thought they were maybe going to be forced to Bob just to get through. They're going to Valkyrie anyway, so it's not free. They have to use one ultimate. Maybe more surprising so is that Hangzhou just give it up. They decide not to play the Valkyrie. I would have expected Hangzhou to stay aggressive, at least to force the Bob, burn the Bob down, then respond. It's like they're waiting for another Nano, which I think they are. Now that Nano's available, I'll put him to Gushue again and send Gushue to go kill.
Okay, well, that's going to be the Nano now onto Bernard because he does fall low, so they're trying to keep him alive. He does have this grab up, but not super high energy. Fate going in with a problem of his own. Gets up top, manages to find Shy, takes him out of the fight. Going to see if he can do anything else in the back end of this Primal Rage, but receives the Discord Orb. Izayaki finding the kill. Kart's still inching forward, but it's not getting too much distance, and this should still show control coming in as Izayaki spots him out. He's going to send a little bit of a solo assassination mission around the back, making sure that Architect cannot get the pitch in onto the supports. But speaking of supports, it's going to be Bernard coming up with one. AJ gone, falling off screen, now DM gone. Void knocked out of the mech and finished by Shy. And I mean, while they're so busy, distracted with Architect on the back, they completely lose the frontline fight.
It's going to be another free grab through Bernard as well. I don't know how many he caught. I assume 2, because he got both DM and Lee Jae on there, so he was able to manage to, you know, walk through, grab on a couple of important targets, take the backline down. It's what you want to see. Gushue buying space with the Primal. I still think maybe the Nano should have gone towards Gushue. Bernard doesn't really need it. Gushue could be way more of a threat with both Primal and the Nano available. Not necessarily using both, but one at a time. In any case, still 3 minutes to go. It's nearly at the finish line. Still quite low here towards the pulse. Oh, that's a big dead.
For a target, oh, Leeching on, just out of the fight. Guchway wrapping around from the side, finds that kill. Now dives forward, seeing Fate having burned his leap. They'll get the kill onto him, punishing
That's going to be
the main tank from the side of the Dragons. And yeah, like you say, that is the cap locked in. 4 minutes still, you know, on the board for the Spark, who look reinvigorated after that, you know, wash of a final round of Nepal. A rough start on Volskaya, but they are fully awake now.
Well, I think it's a composition swap that's so important. Like, yeah, put Gushue and Ryan and play a brawl. That doesn't sound like what Hangzhou Spark should be doing. That doesn't sound like a good comp for them. Like I said, you want to be leaning to the Gushue Winston, and now he doesn't even need the Nano to do the Gushue go kill straight. He lands on Iziak on the Lee Jae Gon, somehow just gets a solo kill. Nano does come on through. So IDK people.
Yeah, now Bernard lock them down with that grab. Self-destruct, let loose from Void to try to buy some space. Fate does manage to find one, getting rid of the enemy Zarya. Rally rolling from IDK to try to keep everybody else alive. And in the fight, Izayaki falls. Fate gone again. Shy finds another kill. Now has the bomb to throw out over towards the spawn doors. A little bit of a corner there onto Void. He's just going to send it straight down the middle. Architect, however, finds Lee Jae Gon, and this is looking like it's done. A huge time bank still here for the side of the Spark. Pile driver coming in to get the pushback from the coach gun, but Fate, as he pile drives down, is just completely dead on arrival. They stormed their way through King's Row, and they finished with 2 minutes and 54 seconds. What happened during the break?
Gushue got activated, and all that needed to happen was to put him on Winston instead of Ryan. Shy's fragging. I mean, no offense to Soman Su, but this is the team right now. Shy, Architect, Gushue, Burner, IDK, MCD. This will be the grab coming down on, I believe. The backline just Kobe's that one through. Actually catches 3. And that includes Void, who doesn't manage the defense matrix it. So decent by Burner, who, you know, gave a bit of fair criticism on Volsky for the zoning grab, and sometimes those can be pretty funny. Technically, Spark won despite the zoning grab, so it didn't cost him a fight, despite it being a bit of comedy. So, yeah, I mean, was there a defense from Shanghai? It looked like the only slowdown there for the Hangzhou Spark was when they were waiting for Nano. For example, on A, during the first neutral, waiting for Nano. Got a Nano very quickly, mind you. And then over towards B as well, you know, they see the Valkyrie from Lee Jae Gon. I understand, it's a flying moth, very threatening. They back out, give the space away, build the next Nano, puts on to Bernard. Gushue's got a primal, he'll work with that, and then walk on through. But from that point onwards, Achilles, I don't really see much resistance from the side of Shanghai. Like, if we get to the end of B and Lee Jae Gon just melts to Gushue, I still question, how can that be allowed to happen? How does this Winston just drop on your Mercy and get a free kill like that? That will just lose you a fight, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, now on the attack, let's see if Shanghai can try to just, you know, match the pace that we set up. It already just feels like such a tall order. And I mean, normally you would have a lot of confidence in this team. It's the Shanghai Dragons, for crying out loud. One of the best teams in the world last year. And now you really have to start wondering, does the Spark just have their number?
Isiaki's trying so hard. He's putting up numbers again, but it's like, you know, the rest of the team are just kind of falling over. Is Fate going to be in trouble here soon?
Has Shy died? Can you check that for me? I don't have the stats in front of me. Has Shy died at all on this map? Because it feels like he has.
Look, one time.
One time.
Do you know who hasn't died? There you go. Fate is in trouble. Do you know who hasn't died? MCD has 0 deaths, by the way. That's why his nano uptime is so high, because he hasn't died yet.
I mean, just, yeah, incredible. Like I said, he's been, oh my god. He's just snapped it on. Right now, Architect comes back in, finds a second kill. Oh man. Go ahead.
As all of Shanghai get destroyed here, do you know who the most deaths on Hangzhou Spark currently is? It's Architect on 2, everybody else on 1, and then MCD on 0.
Wow.
That's what we're talking about.
That's a major major turnaround compared to Nepal and the at least the initial beginnings of Volskaya.
12 final blows on Shy as well. So that's him getting either the last hit or the only hit required.
I think for the most part, it's him getting the only hit required because he's been just nailing these heads, just popping people. Diving to the back there from Gushue, goes in with a primal range. They still don't have that nano boost to couple in with it, but look at the juggling. Oh my god, he is a circus freak. He manages to find his Ayaki, follows up for Lee Jae Gon, just wrecking people with his primal cleave that he's so well known for. Yep, and now Shy just holding this mid ground over on the side. Spots run up for just a fraction of a second, but it's long enough. He just beams him down. Shy is incredible.
I hope no one's underestimating Chinese players right now, because Shy and Gushue are up there. Primal Blade on Gushue, love to see it. I mean, everyone talks about the fearless Winston. Gushue's here to just remind everybody, just for a moment, that Gushue Winston still exists. Who created the original Primal Blade? Of course, it's Gushue, don't forget.
Well, ults stacking up, Transcendence nearly there. Bob will open. IDK just gets absolutely mauled by the bomb. Just disappears in just a moment there. Still, nano boost onto Gushue to try to keep him alive. They'll buy some space to the side of the Shanghai Dragons. opening up the point while Void takes a little bit of a nap, but he's still going to be capping it. So one tick going to be handed over. IDK rushing back, nearly is ready for the rejoin. Rally's almost available for him. Grab online for Bernard could be a big swing in the fight for the Spark to try to retake this point. Potentially pull off a hold. Shy opens it up again. He finds Flutter with a headshot. He just continues to find these angles. Weaves a shot and gets the dynamite, and that's Lee Jae-gon dead in transit. Unreal. Pops up over the top, tries to find DM, can't quite line it up, just gets one body shot in, but it's enough to stave him off, and without Lee Jae-gon, they have to wait for the respawn. It's now 50 seconds remaining for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. They very well might get full held here.
It's looking that way. Shy is playing like a man possessed. He's holding, well, he actually knows that Fate is behind. There it is, the damage confirmed.
Oh my god.
Fate's looking for an opportunity to primal in the backline or something. They're gonna need a lot here. Grab is available. Please, Izayaki, just use your trance to save your team from the grab for once. Assuming the grab does hit, DM will get one back. So finally, DM's hitting some good shots as well.
One opening kill. Fate now dropping down. Primordial is out, juggling around Bernard and IDK. They try to isolate them and get some kills through. Grab's going to be used by Bernard off screen. Gets the displacement there on Shy. Void caught, going low. Does get knocked out of the mech here on the back end as IDK pursues forward, but has overstepped just a little bit. Pilot Diva does manage to finish him off. Nano rolling onto Gushue. Here comes the Primal. Shy finds two. Damn it, Lee Jae-gon both going to be gone. The dynamite ticks away on him, and he will follow up. Gets rid of Void. Izayaki stuck inside the statue in the cubby. They are just absolutely rolling them. Shy's Bob finishes off Fate, and that is going to be it. The full hold on King's Row is Hangzhou Spark. They take the lead in the series now 2-1 over the Shanghai Dragons, who can just not find any footing at all.
Oh my god.
Play of the game, Shy. Yeah, I know. You guys can't see the play of the game, but of course it's Shy. Who the hell else would it be? He's just stomping everybody.
Oh, yeah, it was off. In case you're curious, it's the fat dynamite at the end there where it catches Lee Jae-gon and DM, and then he gets the headshot onto Void. Shy's just doing it all. It's like, you know, the whole thing of like, Bob do something. Here's just like, Shy do something. He's like, yeah, okay, sure, I will. How about a 4K? You want a 4K? Here's one. Easy. Talk about the Architect double kill on the Pulse Bomb. How about just Shy just clicking heads? I mean, you want another fun stat, Seth? You know how I said MCD had 0 deaths? He still has 0 deaths. MCD did not die one time that entire map.
Unreal.
How crazy is that?
Unbelievable.
And Shy ends with 21 final blows, DM with 4 final blows, just in terms of you want to look at Ash versus Ash. Now, DM's damage are still good. They both got about 8.2k, 8.3k, but it's a difference of, like, what, 17 final blows? And you saw so many of that. Every time Shy lights up the kill feed, what an insane, couple maps from Shy so far. And like I said, was map 1 the warm-up? It kind of was, but really, to me, it's just a compositional change. That's all that really needed to happen for Hangzhou Spark.
Well, it's absolutely wonderful. It's beautiful to watch, and it's working an absolute treat for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. So now they do put Shanghai Dragons at match point. Shanghai has to win this next one, take us into a 5th and final map if they want to close out this set. Otherwise, Spark looking to walk away with the upset win 3-1. We'll see if they can close it out when we come back for that next map, so do not go anywhere.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Oh boy, welcome back. Man, what a series we have on our hands right now. Shanghai Dragons, coming into the series, everybody touting that, they should be able to take this. Maybe it's a 3-1. Maybe Spark takes a map away from them, that kind of thing. You never know what's going to happen with Control. Well, they won Control. But now, the Spark have just taken hold of this series. A turnaround victory, starting with just 1 minute in OT on Volskaya, to full holding them after pushing all the way to the end of King's Row. This is just so far out of what anybody had anticipated right now. And I mean, this is on the back of Hangzhou Spark having very recent coaching changes as well. And it seems like after one map, it's all just come together.
And I was ready, a one map in, by the way, look at Lijiang Nepal, it's like, oh, this is probably what you expected. Yeah, Hangzhou have made very drastic changes here. They don't look ready. They're 0-2 down. Hangzhou are struggling as a team right now. Probably not going to be the Shanghai Dragons that they got outclassed massively on Nepal. Yeah. But then it's like, wait a minute. Why don't we just go back to what we're good at? How about we just bring out the classic hits? What's Gushui's best hero again? Is it maybe the Winston? Should we maybe try the Winston? Yeah, let's try and do that. Lo and behold, I think it works. Oh, who knew the Winston for Gushui was going to be good, huh? Who knew that?
Everyone. Everyone in the world, but who knew that Shy was going to come in here and just absolutely dumpster Fleta DM, or just anybody realistically. Yeah, I mean, all of the above when it comes down to the Shanghai roster. He was just absolutely destroying. Such a clinical performance from him, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Shanghai tries to contain this, because they haven't been able to do so. You read off how many eliminations there were for DM compared to Shy. It was not close at all.
That's the thing. It's like, you got DM on the team. DM should be able to match up against someone like Shy, but I don't know if the DM's underperforming. Damage-wise, it's fine. He's putting up same numbers in terms of damage, but if the damage isn't being converted to kills, all that's really happening is you're shooting Gushui or Burnout or whoever, but that's not resulting in a kill. So the difference between the players on the Ash and the damage they've done versus then you look at the final blows is that the damage from Shy is actually being converted into kills, whereas the damage from DM for whatever reason is not. And it's hard to explain why. Maybe it's too many body shots from DM. Maybe it's the rest of the team, like Fade and Void or Fleta, not able to capitalize and convert that onto a kill somewhere. Because for Shy, he almost doesn't even need a team. He's just doing it all on his own, like 21 final blows, something like that. So it's crazy what Shy's been able to do here, and especially outplaying DM, where DM is meant to be one of the better snipers, one of the best snipers, especially now that Arns is gone. You look at your list and you're like, yeah, who are the best? Like Happy, DM, those kind of plays, and DM's kind of, I wouldn't say he's getting rolled, but it's close to it.
It's not looking great, and I'm curious as well as to why we're seeing Lip come in at the beginning, playing a little bit of McCree, and then moving out when it comes down to the Ash, because Ash was one of the big heroes that Lip had kind of made a name for himself on last year.
He's your sniper
Well,
guy.
sure, but Lip showed us last year that he is more than capable of running it. So I'm curious to just kind of see that transition, because Lip was also being brought in a little bit as like the finisher when Shanghai was having a close series. We would see Lip come in, and then Shanghai would turn it on its head, and Lip would have some pop-off moments. Everybody like, oh my God, Lip's so good, don't take him out, yada yada yada.
They could probably
so
swap
clearly
again.
things have been. Yeah, I mean, things are clearly developing a little bit differently for Shanghai this year, coming in with the scrims, I suppose. But it's still interesting to see. And DM just, I mean, he really needs to dig deep and start, performing a bit better, because Shy is just crushing everyone.
I don't think at this stage, if you're with Shanghai, you might have to start considering, do you just put Lip back in? Again, I don't think DM is getting hard rolled. It's just a difference of you're seeing Shy pop up in the kill feed so often. It's not even that. I'm not just like kill feed biased. It's the impact of the kills. Like when you open up a kill into Fleta and you're wondering, well, what's going on with Fleta? He's always dead to Shy. That's what's going on with Fleta. That's why Fleta's not here either, because Shy's just popping his head every single fight. And when you always have the 6v5 created by either Shy popping someone's head or Gushui dropping onto Lee Jae-gon and getting a solo kill into Mercy, something like that. It's not even just Lee Jae-gon. It's like anybody. Gushui just drops on top of you and suddenly that's a kill. It's a constant 6v5 in favor of Hangzhou Spark, and Shanghai Dragons, they're trying to turn things around. Izyaki's still putting up damage, and that's why mid-broadcast there I was saying, like, what's Shanghai doing? I'm like, well, Izyaki's trying. He's really trying, but his team's always dead, so there's only so much you can do in this end.
Yeah, it's just rough. Every twist and turn right now, things not really working out for them. So I don't know. Maybe have to work on the cohesion, because right now, from what we're seeing on the side of the Spark, I mean, the dive plays are phenomenal. Every time Gushue is going to be going in, Architect is right there with him. There's a lot more cohesion, whereas it seems like Fleta, I mean, oftentimes is often a little bit of a solo mission. He's trying to alleviate some pressure by, trying to get into the back line, take out somebody like Shy, like IDK or MCD, but Shy just gets him every single time. He's faster on the punch. He takes down that Tracer, and then everything just starts to really spiral out of control for Shanghai. So it seems like maybe communication needs to be upped. Maybe they just need to get some more scrims in and make sure they have a bit more coordination, a bit better peel for these backline players. But right now, it's really hard. It's especially difficult to try to make these overarching adjustments map over map, because your back is up against the wall. You're one map away from losing this series, which is going to severely harm your scoreline going into the May Melee, like in the proper tournament and whatnot. So, Shanghai, they really need to turn this around.
I don't know. I'm trying to think as well. As like, how do you shut down Shy here? Because he's clearly a problem. And if he was the only problem, that would be maybe dealable. That would be workable for Shanghai. But then Goose Ray's a big problem as well. And you have to put out so many fires. Thankfully, Architect and Bernard haven't been as massive as an issue for Shanghai to deal with compared to Shy and Goose Ray, because if they were online as well, this would probably be a 3-0 for Hangzhou Spark, and would be a much more one-sided series at this stage. Hangzhou need to not change anything. Just play their standard game, go back to the double bubble. Even though we're headed to Havana, the only question mark for me becomes, double bubble's not really the predominant composition on Havana, and a lot of teams go towards the double shield, which is what you're seeing on screen now. Gushue on the Orisa, Burner on towards the Sigma, and you can still, in fact, maybe you should even retain Shy on the Ashe here. That being said, though, Hanzo is really good into double shield, and I think Hangzhou Spark are expecting that Shanghai Dragons will also go with double shield. And they're about to realize, though, Shanghai are going to get the spawn camp going with the Brawl. And honestly, when you look at Shanghai, Brawl was what was working for them pretty well on the pull. Maybe going back to that could be the right option for them.
Well, moving forward now, getting a lined up over at the gas station. Do that forward hold.
Attackers incoming.
Now they manage Architects, and nope, not going to be getting any shots through there, but let me just bust out my classic Genji. Profit playing it in our last series to a pretty wonderful effect. How he fares. Yeah, falling low. Immortality Field already going to have to be used. Force them back into the spawn alley, though. That's the team relatively split here for the moment. Shy is just looking for some hot shots, looking for some skulls. Go ahead and shoot one of these arrows into. A couple hits in, but IDK will be the first one to fall. And so far, it's a solid start to the defense from the side of Shanghai, as they so desperately
slow though. Shanghai need to get a fight started. I mean, Fate nearly died. If Fate dies, this entire defense is gone for Shanghai. They need to aggress on one of these two sides. If you look at what Hangzhou are doing, they're trying to split this fight up into two sides across both spawn doors. So playing the off angles is what this is kind of usually called. And the MCD down, it should still be advantage. In the way of Shanghai for now. Izayaki though.
Yeah, it starts to slip. Izayaki going to be eliminated, but Void follows up for another kill. Fighting for Gnar. Fire Strike thrown into the spawn room, looking for some kills. They will be able to clean up Shy on the end here. So for now, should be able to hold this. They can't try to go and ferry Izayaki, obviously, so it makes his way back a little bit slower. But it just looks to wall somebody off. But I think that Spark are more than privy to this, so they will just go ahead, pull out through the alley, wrap around from the front. Breeze trying to come in on the Architect. He needs to get the heck out of there.
Void
has dashed away. Void, yeah, kind of left alone. That's Immortality Field to save him.
Sound barriers have been played out as well, so I don't know if the Flux is going to do enough here. Bernard's already burned this down. They have the respawn advantage. With DM gone, there needs to be a lot more Shanghai Dragons presence, as a Shatter's not been quite landed yet. Fate's still holding on to this one. Maybe hard to Shatter versus double shield, but an angle must be found. Here we go for Fate. He's looking for it.
Inching forward. Oh, no, he loses it. The accretion comes in. Now, Architect goes in with the blade. They cannot lock him down. Architect cleaning up too, looking for a little bit more. They'll get the break onto the Diva mech. They finish off Void, and that was catastrophic. I mean, they still buy a decent amount of time. They still can recontest this, but losing the Shatter in the middle from that accretion is just so... that's such a feels bad moment there for Fate.
That was excellently played by Hangzhou. You see what they do again. They're trying to walk out from two entrances, of which Shanghai can only cover one in this spawn, and eventually start flanking as well. Void has to try and respond to you. In this next fight, Supercharger has been played. Later, I think the Dragon Strike is available. We're still waiting for this, Fleta, Blizzard to come on through. This will be a contest, but it needs to be quite aggressive. Window straight away, and now the Blizzard needs to follow suit.
Right off the gate there. Window goes up. We managed to get rid of the supercharger. Fake looking for that pin. Takes a little bit of damage in transit. DJ gone, falling low. Self-destruct to try to open things up. Void letting that fly up over the top. Manages to find two. Transcendence does get popped from MCD. Keeps himself alive, but unfortunately can't do much to Architect nor Bernard. They do get sent back now to the spawn doors as Lee Gon just looks to boop everybody out of the immortality field. They will get the recontest here on the cart. Shanghai Dragons looking to pull off a full hold like they suffered on King's Row.
Dicey situation there for Shanghai Dragons because you see them go from coast to coast. On the right side, they have to start shifting over towards the left. IDK's down, they survive versus the Flux. DJ Gon doesn't even have a sound barrier, so he doesn't have to burn it. All player there, obviously Mortality Field's always going to be available. And then the disengage, I'm not too sure about the window from IDK because Shanghai can just ignore it. They just walk backwards, they say, we don't have to play into it. And now taking the high ground as well. They have so much to play with. You should see the window almost instantly. There it is. Yaki, where's the angle though? You need to see the card. They don't see the card.
Yeah, they do not see the cart there, which is still continuing to inch forward. Nobody is contesting it at the moment. It's getting a couple meters away. 0.98 there as Architect tries to push it through. Nearly does have that next blade available. Bernard going down. 10 seconds, as you say, remaining here in the time bank. Several low HP bars right now for the side of the Spark. They need to get top back up. Okay, looking to rejoin MCD, looking to get this next Transcendence online. Blade is available, Void falling low. The barrier has been used. Architect looking to draw this out with the back end. McFleta domes him, gets the icicle through up the back of the right click to finish off Architect, and that should be it. IDK sitting up top trying to offer up some healing. Shadow gets dropped in. I think it found too much, but the bomb will finish off Gushue, and that will be a full hold. Less than a meter to go there for the side of Spark, but they cannot get across that line.
That less than a meter was only there because Shanghai didn't address the payload. There's a lot of free push coming on through. And that would have been really upsetting if they allowed the C9 to occur, where Shanghai is so focused on the fight they forget about the objective. But no, they will hold it. And I was gasping for air there because Lee Jae-gon burns the sound barrier early, and I'm thinking, oh, is this another one of those Shanghai things they do where a support ultimate's available, but they're not holding it to counter a certain ult on the attacking team? We saw Izayaki blowing Transcendences when grabs have been available. To be fair, though, Bernard's grabs have not been that threatening. Arctic did have a blade. Lee Jae-gon doesn't respect the blade, or doesn't know that it's there. I would assume that he should know that the blade is there. Burns the sound barrier, and I'm thinking this is a free blade for Architect. Hangzhou can use his blade, cap with it, it's fine. And like you said there, Fleta just domes the two of them. Shy's been sniping, Fleta's had enough. He's sniping now on the May, and you know, we're moving towards a situation where Shanghai are kind of rediscovering the strengths a little bit. Brawl's working out well for them, and for Hangzhou Spark, you know, no double bubble, no win.
Yeah. Well, really good there, especially what we've got. Getting that headshot to shut down Architect, that's another feels bad. It's about as bad as losing your shatter from an accretion, I would say. It is getting shot in the head by a Faye when you're trying to use your blade.
That was the most obvious shatter from Fate in the world. You see him rock up by himself, it's like, yeah, he's going for a shatter. And you're just accretion him. The only sad part is obviously he drops a shield 2 shatters. The timing was perfect from Bernard. Bit of a rip coming through from the side of Fate. It was double shield versus double shield now, so no early spawn hole coming through from Hangzhou Spark. Sniper versus sniper. DM versus Shy on the Hanzo.
Well, now, Spark going to the Shanghai Dragons saying, can we do a cooler hold perhaps? We'll see if they can pull it off. I mean, hey, we saw Outlaws do it to Shock, so why the hell not right here, right now for Spark versus the Dragons? Same map as well. Goes Havana for the field to close that out. Just going to be sniping. Hanzo. Oh, it's a good wall. Jump comes in on the MCD. Huge there from Fleta, denying the retreat, cutting off Bernard, so no support can be found there from the off-tank player. They get the kill onto both. Nakushwe falling in the front lines, and it seems like this should be it. It seems like we should have a 5th and final map getting ready to come up, as this is just clinical from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Looking to bounce back after that upset, surprising loss on Kings Road. They want to take us into a 5th and final.
And there's no ultimates. I mean, Shy has nearly got a Dragon Strike. Usually you've been looking towards the window, but IKK's dead. Jagon will get one pretty soon. We're nearly onto a Blizzard as well. This is the final fight territory, and Gushue's dead to DM.
Oh, they dodge out on that accretion, but Shy is dead before he can get that Dragon online. Now the kill in onto Bernard. MCD finds the but they need so much more than that, but he will fall, and this should just be it, and it is. Very cleanly done by the Shanghai Dragons. A strong reply after King's Row. They take Havana in a matter of minutes, a full hold into a very breezy push from themselves, and we will have a final map to decide the winners of this set.
I gotta say, Kilios, and this is the development of the double shield mirror as well. You're seeing a lot of Mays being played, and that's the reason why it's very common for a double shield composition, especially on the defense of Havana, to be playing a split defense, half towards that blue, blue house, and half towards where the main street is. And obviously, if you're the attacking team, you're going to be pushing up. You're going to be clearing the blue side, the right side from attacker's perspective. And when you have a May, you wall off plays. It's a free pick. And from then onwards, I mean, there's no main response. There's nothing on the side of the Hangzhou Spark where, yeah, I mean, now if you want to play double shield versus double shield, you really do have to start thinking about May a lot more often. I think they got out-comped a little bit there, but I also, I jokingly said no double bubble, no win, but I'm starting to believe that a little bit of Kilios because they look phenomenal when Gushra is on a Winston. Arissa doesn't get your blood flowing, doesn't get you excited.
Yeah, it doesn't really do nearly as much. Not as active, just kind of throws down a bongo on the ground.
Primal,
says, hey,
primal supercharge, primal bongo, that's not really a thing, Primal blade, though, no, I like that.
Let's stick with the Primal Blade. I think that's going to be really good, especially when it's nano boosted by MCD, who's just not dying in the background. But guys, we do have a final map coming up. That's going to be Busan to decide this series. Do not go anywhere. It's coming up in just a few, and you don't want to miss it.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
All right, and we are back, and it's time for our fifth and final map here in this series of the evening as well. 2-3-0s to start off the day, but we come in here and we get some good old Map 5 goodness, Avril, and I could not be more excited. It's been very cutthroat between these two teams. A full hold on King's Row for Spark to take that map, replied very swiftly by the Shanghai Dragons to now take us into Busan to settle the score. It happens.
Oh my goodness. Unlucky ZP, unlucky me as well. I was going to say, unlucky ZP, though. You guys got the 3 zeros. I know. Well, you know what? I'm never muting
Should
again.
be good
so
now,
that's my crime. You know what? That's the thing.
But,
I've committed a crime. I will pay the time.
Actually, now I can't hear Avril, so I don't know what he's done. He might have stopped talking completely in our chat program. So we'll get that taken care of, but it's okay.
No, you can hear me. You can hear me.
There we go. I could. Yeah, I was just messing with everybody.
It's fine. We're going to a map 5. We're going to a map 5. It's fine. Don't worry about it, fellas.
Get excited.
It's I think this is it's a weird day for Hangzhou Spark fans because you're like, at first you're like, oh no, we're losing, and they're like, we're fragging really hard. And now you're like, oh no, we're losing, because you just got full health. It's very up and down. It's very pendulum swingy, and now everyone's like, please, Gushue Winston. However, next map I believe is going to be Busan. If you are the side of Hangzhou Spark, can you do the double bubble or not? Or is it going to be, you're going to be forced into something else? Because ball comps kind of dominate Busan. Sigma ball is, I think, the most predominant composition here. And I think if you're Gushue, you'd still much prefer the Winston play over the ball play. If you're MCD, you probably want to be Anna here. Otherwise, you're playing Briggs in. I think if you are Shanghai, you're going to be playing more towards the meta stuff here. I expect, Sigma ball coming through from Void, Fate, and then Fled on the Tracers, all the classic kind of stuff.
I think that there's good windows of opportunity here, though, for them to still keep the double bubble composition for Hangzhou Spark. I mean, I think, more so we're going to be seeing the Sigma and the ball when it comes down to Sanctuary, but things like Mecha Base, downtown, you can definitely get away with running the Winston there, at least in particular. So I think that we will see them stick to that. It's just about, do we start on Sanctuary? Do we have to see Guangzhou potentially move over to something like that Wrecking Ball off the bat, or do they try to just shoehorn the Winston into that map where it's less commonly seen? I don't know. I'm also curious about Shy, whether or not he's just going to be moving back over to the Ash again. I think that all three maps here do really favor the Ash. The Hangzhou wasn't really getting that much done from him. We weren't seeing anywhere near as flashy plays. Granted, you're playing a projectile compared to a hit scan, so it's a little bit less reliable, but it wasn't super impactful. The one Dragon Strike that we did see come through from him wasn't super huge. It just kind of cleared the card at the very beginning of Shanghai's hold, and then from there he kind of fell to the wayside. So I think putting him back over onto the Ash, seeing the Winston and the Zarya come back through would be a really big boon for Hangzhou Spark to be able to close this out.
I mean, I think the Hangzhou is there because of double shield. When you want to play the double shield mirror, the Hangzhou is what's going to give you the extra shield break. The Dragon Strike, obviously great versus double shield as well. So I think he was almost forced to play it for the sake of the composition more so than he probably wanted to. I don't think Shy would. He'd much prefer to be on the Ash, I'm sure, which he will be now. Busan's another good map for the Ash. So on that side of things for Hangzhou, you're going to have that threat again. I don't know if we're really going to see the Guangzhou Winston. They might force it because they believe the double bubble is good, but across the board, as far as what is quote-unquote meta good, it's again, we look at Ball, we look at Sigma, especially on Sanctuary, and then somewhat on Downtown, and then on Mecha Base, you're looking towards Brawl, you're looking back on towards the Rhine, and none of that speaks Winston for Guangzhou. And I think especially Mecha Base might be a bit of an issue because we've established that Shanghai have currently, they're the better Brawl team. So Mecha Base should be I wouldn't say an auto win for Shanghai, but they're very, very favored on it. And that just means if you're Hangzhou, you got to win the other two. You got to take Sanctuary and you got to take Downtown.
Yep. Well, here we go. We do have Lip coming back in over DM. Let's see what he has prepared for us. Likely could just be, a lot more of the McCree coming through, but maybe he does fall back onto the Ash. But, I mean, damn. Yeah, you look at these score lines right now across the board on your monitors. Just close into not close into not close, but the overall series is still remaining to be a bit of a nail-biter. But we will be starting off on Sanctuary, and we already see the Wrecking Ball Sigma coming through. Shy, however, back to the Ash.
And that's one thing that Hangzhou can be thankful for. The Ash is available. It's not going to get pocketed, though. There's no Mercy here. I don't think you could really afford to do Mercy when, to really have Tracer and Ball work properly. Briggs in is kind of the comp. The good news for Hangzhou is that Shanghai aren't going to be doing it either. Lip on the Widowmaker could actually be real. Widowmaker does get played a little bit on Sanctuary, so we'll be surprised if that actually does get rolled out. We are expecting Flitter Architect on the Tracers. There it is.
It is the Carpe Special. Lip's going to be doing it here as well. He's going to be looking to outrange him and outdamage him and get those headshots through. I don't think he's been spotted yet as he continues in with his rotation, just looking to get a bit of a flank angle, but everybody is just kind of playing ring around the rosy at the moment while we wait for the point to unlock in 5 seconds. Playing off opposite sides.
Everyone's patient.
Yep, pushing back over now. Back from the Shanghai side of things. As Shy takes a little bit of a shot, has to pull back with that coach gun. Onto Guangzhou as he makes his way forward onto the point. Zamata trading coming through. His Architect falls low. Flutter trying to chase in. Force the recall. Shy gets the headshot. There's the opening that they were looking for. They get the push in on the Lee Jae-gon. Isolating him. They take him out. That's going to be both supports now eliminated from the fight. Lip on the crossfire, however, finds Shy. Follows up for another one onto Bernard. Looks for a little bit more. Limited damage options when it comes down to taking out Guangzhou, but he takes enough damage that the body shot will finish him off. And that's going to be a very fast flip now back into favor of the Shanghai Dragons. Only 15% netted for Hangzhou.
It's not a bad start for Hangzhou with the 15%, but Lip getting the kill into Shy is going to be the answer from Shanghai Dragons. You ask the question of how do you deal with Shy? How do you shut this guy down in the Ash? And well, Shy's going to deliver. He gets the kills required. Flitter's down again. But Lip gets the required, not just to kill the Shy, but then the counter trades as well. Architect dies pretty much exactly at the same time as Flitter went down. So as long as Lip can keep that momentum up, as long as Shanghai can keep that up as well, it will be good. We're looking towards Fate to try and rescue himself, which should be able to do. We got Coach Gun
trying to get the Coach Gun knock off there from Shy. Couldn't get a hard enough angle, though, to send him over the end. Lip set up, looking for somebody to push their little head through the window. Shield race from IDK. Block off any and all sight lines possible.
They're respecting the Empress site, but they're going to lose a lot of time off that. And that's an unfortunate thing for the side of Hangzhou Spark. See Burnout taking a lot of damage here as well. With the first kill coming on through at 6v5, and no good responses so far. Waiting to see if Shy can land another headshot.
Hasn't been able to make it happen yet. Recall going to be forced down from Architect. Still takes a smattering of damage on the back end of that one, but it's going to be MCD who actually finds a headshot onto Lip. Gets rid of that enemy Widowmaker, and obviously not going to be seeing any Mercy play right now, so there's no way to bring him back into the fight. Architect with a pulse bomb will eliminate Void. Izayaki dead as the bomb surges forward onto the point. They'll get the cleanup, and that'll be the flip coming through. 73%, 72% there for the side of the Dragons as the flip comes in. But with this re-aggression that we're about to see from Shanghai Dragons, they have a ton of ults to use.
MCD into the frag here is quite thematic as well, considering, you know, the last time we saw Hangzhou Spark played, they were up against NYXL. MCD popped off on that Zenyatta. It was a very good performance by MCD to really show his case for, you know, being in the conversation to be another top flick support across all of Overwatch League. Currently doing a little bit more damage than Izayaki as well, so definitely holding his own. 40% now. It's a bit of catch-up still required. Shanghai lead by a decent margin.
They do. They've got a lot of tools to try to break into this site. Shy taking quite a bit here on the trade back. Pushes back out as he gets a little bit of healing. He's got to top him up. Dynamite gets caught. The recall already used from Fleta. Dodges out on the damage. Flux used from Void. Dropping him back down to the ground. Forces the Transcendence from the MCD to try to keep everybody alive. Gushue somewhere with a sliver of HP. Looks like he is going to be able to survive. Izayaki now feeling pressure. Pops his own trance. Bernard trying to wait for the Flux so that healing is not going to be there. Izayaki finds IDK. Right, trading one back. Bernard now dead to that accretion. It's just a bloodbath here on the point. Taking the lead right now are the Spark, but it seems like the Shanghai Dragons, for the most part, going to be winning out on the fight. And they're starting to get this flip back into their favor. Just 82% on the board here for Spark. Can they continue to contest without Gushue up? Going to be proving to be a little bit difficult. Architect trying to play forward. Does have to pull back in the end. Dancing around the drum.
It'll be fun to fight.
Approach to try to get this pulse online. Yeah, final
That's
fight
huge.
is going to be coming in. Good opening as Fleta assassinates Shy off screen. Pulse bomb now online from Architect. It's going to absolutely have to be massive. He's pushing up onto Void. Hasn't been able to find this stick yet. Not going to be going for it. Playing this one out patiently, but MCD going to get picked off. Bernard knocked out of the mech. The baby even now going to be finished off. They still have a minefield to try to buy a little bit of space, but Architect gets finished off. It's one last reset here for the side of the Spark.
I'm just waiting for the Bob to come online. Shy didn't quite have it. You know, you can lose one player, the Bob can recover it in terms of numbers, but just wasn't really online just yet. So Shanghai Dragons going to come down to 99-99, and we talked how important that this submap is for the Hangzhou Spark. We're maybe expecting somewhat that Mecha Base will go towards Shanghai, so you need to win the other two, including this one. Shy's been damaging, getting a lot of kills from the Fleta so far, and that's been really good for the 6v5s. Another 6v5 we get, trying to get IDK, rather trying to get Izayaki. Force the trance.
Izayaki dies. He forces the trance, but he gets the kill on the Architect before he even uses it. So the pulse bomb not going to be the fight now. Gushue going to be taken down. There's a huge amount of damage eliminated here from the side of the Spark. This corridor out in the Bernard. He takes a ton of damage. Fleta playing around the flank angle. Dynamite from Lip finishes off the enemy Sigma. Shy drags one back and taking down Lee J Gone. Rally still rolling for IDK as he tries to stay alive, but MCD takes too much damage. IDK does fall, and it's looking like 199% here for the side of Shanghai. Pile driver coming in from Gushue, but this corridor focus fire is there. They finish him off. The OT bleeds away rapidly, and Shanghai will barely take this first round.
It's going to be a bit of an upsetting loss for Hangzhou Spark, I'm sure. Shy is really trying. He's putting in the damage once more. He's getting the final blows, doing all that's required, and here it is. This is the Mecha Base, and for Hangzhou Spark to win now, they're going to have to come into the brawl. Look at this. Goose runs to the Rhine already. They know it. You're going to ask, is it possible that they can just stay up? Can they maybe force a double bubble? Can they force a dive composition? The answer is yes, but it wouldn't be efficient. You'd have to really massively outplay Shanghai Dragons on this brawl here, and Shanghai Dragons, they know it. They know that this is them on the victory path. They took that sub-map away that Hangzhou really needed, and now there's only one required. This is match point definitely secured now.
Pressure on in such a huge way here for the side of the Hangzhou Spark would be a wonderful turnaround for them. I mean, they haven't taken maps away from Shanghai for nearly 2 years. They picked up 2 here in this series, but they want the set along with it. Mortality field's gone from both sides. Architect taken down. Guangzhou going to be following suit as Flood Up follows up. PS Duo doing wonders right now for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. MCD trying to retreat back. Seems like he will make it out to safety. The flashbang not going to connect in. Bernard gets the finish here on the lip, but he's going to lose his mech for it. So the point's still going to be locked down. And now there's extra little staggers coming through as Bernard's going to have to try to make his way off the side of the map. We're back to spawn and reset. Either way,
honestly,
not ideal. Oh.
Looked a little bit like the ball, I was going to say, but maybe not, because the window comes down for Izayaki. They lose lip off the back. That's very fast. The response for the Hangzhou Spark. Now the 6v5. MCD's nearly onto the window himself. This could be a big turnover from the Hangzhou Spark. It's 20%, but you are going to need to see more ults have to come through from Shanghai if they lose more members.
Yeah, it's starting to fall apart, though. Ball's coming up just to try to exit there for Architect, but Bernard going to be knocked out of the mech just as quickly as he got back into it. And this is going to have to be a full reset here for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. They try to re-aggress. It looks good with that initial pick on the lip, but unfortunately, Guangzhou goes down, and then the rest of it just starts to unravel. So still going to be held here for the Shanghai Dragons, approaching 50%.
I mean, it looks good on top of the fact that the implication matrix was used by Izayaki as well, but they couldn't find the value. Shanghai just have to pull back, punish Guangzhou like you said. Fake shatter.
In from behind, he knocks 3 to the ground, goes in for the pin, clips onto Shy, finishing him off. And Shanghai, yeah, they are hungry for the win. They say, you know what, Spark, you've had your fun, but it's time to put you in your place. A great flank shadow there from Fate. Sets it up, but on the reapproach, MCD pops out of Amp Matrix. They do find Flutta, but that's not enough for them to aggress over onto the point. They're still not feeling comfortable, not well enough positioned, so they try to re-rotate around the side. Deadeye from Shy, escorting them forward. Sound barrier used by Lee J gone. He looks to line it up, can't get any shots through to get a kill. The freeze is there on the Fate, and as he hits the low ground, they manage to get the finish. Bomb out from Void, not going to find anything, but he can safely remech and join back into the fight as they look for the flip here on the point. Shanghai Dragons, though, they can just buy time. They have so much to work with. They're almost at 99%. We'll see if they can still turn this around. Which way with a pin goes in deep, finds Void. They finish him off. Getting rid of that baby diva, and it seems like Spark should be able to get this flip, but it's going to be with overtime forced here by the Shanghai Dragons. Deadeye out. Flip finds one. Maybe they actually can just turn this.
I mean, does Flitter want to use the Blizzard here or not? Because if they want to turn it, Flitter has to open his ultimate immediately. It's looking like maybe the case. They have a few kills here. This can still be going the way of Shanghai's massively. There's a lot of kills. Hangzhou losing all the members.
They get pushed off the point for just a moment. They're not Bernard going to be going down. Everybody is dead, and it looked like surely the Spark should have been able to take that, should have been able to gain some amount of percentage on the point, but Shanghai Dragons, they somehow managed to persevere. They turned the fight around, just constantly stringing members onto the point, buying time, picking off the Spark one by one. And they close it out again, 100-0 here in the second round of a control map. Just beautifully done. Great stability from the side of the Shanghai Dragons to be able to pick up this victory. But damn, if that does not feel bad for the Hangzhou Spark. So very close, finally taking maps away from them after so very long, not since Stage 4, Week 5 of Season 2, I do believe, in 2019, have they been able to take a map off the Shanghai Dragons. They get so close to being able to beat them, but here in the final hour on Busan, it's just not good enough. They can't get a round on the board. They cannot win this set.
Yeah, it's disappointing, unfortunately, because they got so close. They got the match point first. We were at 2-1 at one stage. You know, maps were looking good for them. The composition was good for them. And now, you know, the statement of no double bubble, no win is just it's gonna be true, sadly, for the Hangzhou Spark. And as I said as well, we look towards Busan. They needed to win Sanctuary because Mecha Babes was more than likely going to go the way of Shanghai. Spark need to work on their brawl just a little bit here because it's not matching up against Shanghai. When you look towards those neutrals and the brawls consistently go the way of Shanghai. They're getting more damage done. They're forcing immortality fields way earlier. And they're getting ultimate charges faster as well. I mean, MCD gets outpaced versus Izayaki on the map. You know, amplification matrix are really fast. Some of the other ultimates are the same thing as well. We've seen Fledder get faster blizzards. So across the board, the brawl from the side of Shanghai is just that much better. So when we go towards Mecha Base, that is just going to go the way of Shanghai. If you don't win Sanctuary, you got no shot at Busan. If you don't have the shot at Busan, I mean, that's going to be it. And we talked about implications for scorelines as well. Unfortunately, even though maps have been taken, Hangzhou have got like 4 maps over the course of their 3 games. They've lost all 3 of their matches, which means the best record they can get now is 1-3. And 1-3 is unfortunately not going to be good enough to get you into the May Melee tournament.
Sure. I mean, at this point, this is going to be, have to be about building onward, for the rest of this season. Yeah. They've shown that they can be very competitive. They've shown that they can get things done. I mean, that Kings Row was just beautiful to watch. Having Shy on that Ashe was such a treat. So even with the loss here in the end, there's still plenty of highlight moments for the Hangzhou Spark to hold on to and look forward to improving as they go deeper into the season. So they're not done yet. There's still a chance for them to bounce back later on. But let's go ahead and take a look at our player of the match here for this series. And there was a little bit of debate between you and I as far as who it could be, but in the end, it had to be Izayaki, the most consistent member for the side of the Dragons the whole way through this series.
Absolutely, and across multiple comps as well. Talked a lot with Batiste, who's just outpacing MCD here on the Zen. Even though they're losing, he's getting a lot of damage. And at one point, Izayaki had more damage than Architect, had more damage than Bernard. Was only 100 damage away from being the same as Fletcher, who's on a DPS hero. So Izayaki was putting up big numbers no matter what, whether they're winning, whether they're losing. And when you actually look at Izayaki's stats a little bit later on, he leads the league #1 in damage done on Zenyatta, I'm pretty sure. So, and you're seeing it just these kind of players coming on through. It's well deserved, honestly.
Yeah, really, just phenomenally done at every twist and turn. I mean, you kept saying, on King's Row, Izayaki's doing his damnedest. He's trying to make this work, but it just unfortunately isn't happening because Shy's killing everybody. So, through thick and thin at every twist and turn, Izayaki was just trying his hardest to keep the team moving forward, to get them across the finish line. And in the end, he's able to do so. We'll pull up his stats. I mean, 20 final blows for him on the Zenyatta, 42 eliminations in this set. A huge amount of damage as well as healing done. So just, stock standard, that's what you want to see in your Zenyatta players. So just wonderfully done.
Yeah, so it's, in case you were wondering, it was first for hero damage done per 10 and first for healing down per 10 as well in the league. So that's where, and obviously Transcendence Healing is up there on first. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Izayaki. Zenyatta was definitely a massive hero for him, and I think Molly's still waiting on their bench, which is Molly's a fantastic flex support player in his own right, but currently Izayaki is putting up big numbers. He's having huge impact, giving Shanghai Dragons what they need, and we look towards the series where if you're Shanghai Dragons, you still need to kind of work on what's going on with DM in your team, with what's going on with the Ashe and that kind of composition, because those two maps, especially I think Volsky, which was very winnable for Shanghai Dragons, but they have the bigger time bank and they lost anyway. That in particular is a map that needs to be really addressed by Shanghai Dragons moving forward, because despite winning here, that actually doesn't look like a comfortable series. What they can be more pleased with is the brawl, but when we get towards the actual top 4 of APAC, getting into the regional tournament qualifiers, Shanghai just don't look like a favorite versus Chengdu or Philadelphia Fusion currently.
Yeah, no, they really don't, and that's a major transition, compared to, you could even reason the last 2 years, given that they were Stage 3 champions in Season 2, given that, they were able to best the shock for that, and had just such a wonderful turnaround. Then they go into the playoffs last year in the top 4. So yeah, this is a major shift for the Shanghai Dragons franchise, and they need to kind of right the ship moving forward, because they want to keep being, the best team in the APAC region. They don't want a Fusion coming over from Philadelphia and taking over their area, They want to avoid that. But let's take a little breather. It's now time for our game break, as you can all see here on our desk, presented by Cheese It Grooves. And I mean, we can just go straight into our crunch time. Avril, I believe you have something that you really wanted to kind of focus in on here from this last series of the night.
Yeah, I mean, if you only joined in now and you hadn't heard the conversation about the team compositions and why that matters and where the strengths and weaknesses have lied so far, you have to look across the 2 successful maps here. Volsky, Kings Row, so good for the side of the Hangzhou Spark, and where we're seeing the success is you're putting your win condition in Shy, you're putting your win condition in Goose-Ray, the nanos are coming on through, MCD on the Anno is putting up the numbers as well, and that's including stuff where Bernard doesn't have the most energy. You see here he missed the grab as well, but on top of that, Architect had that double kill on the Pulse Bomb that really clutched him up on that last point of B. Move over towards Kings Row. Shy is got massive damage done here, a lot of impact on towards the Ashe. So this is just the kind of composition where you get to put some of your best players on their best heroes. And that's really important, I think, for a team like Hangzhou Spark, where you have Goose-Ray on the team. He's like one of the Winston players, one of the best Winston players in Overwatch of all time, next to guys like Fearless, right? So having, if you really want to find success, you kind of need to be leaning into what really works well for your team. And maybe if we're talking about comforts, that's part of it. Now, the weaknesses we are going to see is some of the brawls here have not been working out well for the Hangzhou Spark side of things. They need to be really addressing especially what's going on with those neutrals. Gushue is getting picked as Ryan's definitely not where his Winston is. Shy's McCree as well. In this kind of series, when you see Lip coming in on the McCree, Lip is getting a lot done. I was even looking towards stats, and Lip's McCree is definitely outpacing Shy just that much, just a little bit. And so when DM was in on the Ashe, Shy was winning. When Lip's coming on the McCree, we're forcing McCree versus McCree. That's going to end up being a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, it is scary just to try to fully lean into your comfort picks. Having Gushue constantly on the Winston, having Bernard backing him up with Azaria, running the same comp over and over again. That can be risky because then there's anticipation from the enemy teams. They can try to develop strategies to play around you, but it's just so clearly, at least in this series right here, a night and day difference between Hangzhou Spark going for things like the Wrecking Ball, going for that Orisa like we saw in Havana, and then having Gushue there on the Winston, having him backed up with the double bubble. And I mean, if they decide that they want to lean into just having that full-blown double bubble the entire time, and maybe they feel like Bernard, he's good for his flexibility because he can go for the D.Va, he can go for the Zarya. But if you want to just keep somebody on Zarya the whole time, screw it. So Minsu, he's sitting there on your roster. He's got plenty of history playing that pick. So that becomes a bit more of a flexible option as well. So you can get him in there, have a little bit more of a DPS-minded play style, backing you up as your off tank. So there's a little bit to work with here, I think, for the Hangzhou Spark. And I'm looking forward to seeing the continued development of this team as we move further on into the season.
I mean, that's what we're saying, right? Because they changed up the coaching staff. They're still figuring stuff out. We're finally seeing Shy join the roster in a little bit more of a higher capacity here. They're still trying to figure out So Min-soo just a little bit, Hangzhou looked better than the previous two games. What I think people can be quite pleased about, especially if you do support Hangzhou, is that Hangzhou, in their third matchup, this has been their best match so far, bar none. And that's we can only expect that Hangzhou should improve onwards. So when you say, looking over time, Hangzhou are going to be a better team, I believe at stage 2 especially, that's when I think Hangzhou are ready to strike.
All right, well, we'll keep our eyes on them as we move further on into the season. But, guys, that does it for us here tonight for APAC. We, of course, have many, many more matches to happen throughout the weekend. So, it's, still 2 more days of matches that we're going to be bringing alongside ZP and Doha. But that does it for us now. Thank you guys for tuning in. NA is going to be coming up in God knows how many hours. I don't know, 6 hours or something like that. So, get a little nap in, wake up, check out those games. Make sure you get your Preds locked in so you can win those beautiful pick-em points like I'm doing. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch.